believe this is our sixth episode.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
It's
Time
crazy,
flies.
but I feel like it's been going so well. So yeah, shall we just dive right in and get started today? Because we have a good topic.
Absolutely.
All right. So today we're doing social media secrets, content strategies that actually work. So I've kind of split it up into two different sections, but I feel like the best place to start here is highlighting right before you start your content strategies. There's four key questions that you want to ask yourself as a business for each platform, which is what's your purpose? Where's your audience? What are your content pillars? And what are your goals? I feel like if you can answer those four questions as a business before you get started on your strategy, that's a great place to start. Anything you want to add on those questions?
Yeah, like she said, this is for each platform, and not all platforms are the same, so these answers might vary between the different ones. So yeah, it's
Big time,
important to take that into consideration.
big time, big time. And testing will be worked into kind of all the topics that we cover going forward. So diving right into sort of content strategies that work. The first one I want to hit right off the bat is listening. Listening tools, listening strategies. Where does that fall into when it comes to all of your social channels? I feel like it is probably one of the most important content strategies that you can use because it really is doing extra work for you. So by setting a pathway to have a testimonial system. So when testimonials come in, where do they go? What teams do they go to? How do they get turned into content? And which channels do they get pushed on? Having a system for that, feedback, anything like that. Specifically photos, like working photos with reviews, like if customers can link photos or linking those photos from Instagram onto your site, having a multi-channel ecosystem with your feedback and your testimonials, all that stuff not only across social, but you can also improve your actual customer service and your products through listening. Obviously, UGC is one we've talked about a lot. I'll kind of let you cover that one. I know that's your specialty. And I think before I pass the ball over to you, I think a really, really important one, and I think it's overlooked a lot by e-commerce brands, is just giving back as a content strategy. Like setting aside a budget for your customers, setting aside a budget for customers, but also your employees to say, hey, I have X amount to give back. So if they're speaking with a customer that has an issue or maybe they lost their dog and they're like, hey, we're a dog food company. I know I have $200 to give to a customer, so I'm going to give them a free gift, dog food, whatever have you it. Or flowers for their loss. So, but thinking of ways that you can allow your employees to give back to customers when they're in real-time situations and also using those listening tools, which of your customers are reaching out or speaking about problems they're having or just finding opportunities to engage with your customers and give back to them. I think that's a really great way to create content.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry. Thank you so much.
That's all
Um,
right.
for user-generated content, I think it's important to always encourage your followers to share their content, especially if it's featuring, your items, how they enjoyed your service. And then I think it's also important to reward those people that are actually doing that, whether that's a 20% off code or, hey, thank you so much for making this reel about our sweater. We're sending you another one as a thank you. Like, you're awesome. And then back to the testimonials and feedback. I love repurposing stuff from Google My Business or Google Business Profile. One of my clients is a restaurant, and surprisingly, some of their reviews have the best photos of their food. So that's a great way if you're into food photography or stuff like that. A great way to repurpose that, especially if you have permission from the person who posted the review. But yeah, I love using that. And it's also really funny to read those comments about restaurants. I never knew they could be so funny.
I actually do leave comments, especially for positive ones for pizza that I've posted, and those photos get a lot of uh,
Yeah.
views. But I would even say, thinking about where your main testimonial platform is and where that trickles out to, right? So,
Um,
are you going to be housing them in Zendesk? Are you going to be housing them in Google? Are you going to be housing them on Facebook? Usually, it's wherever you want the SEO to play the biggest part. for me as a freelancer, that's LinkedIn. I usually put them on LinkedIn first and then trickle them out whereas for businesses, they are probably going to go the Google route because Google, that hits SEO exactly where we want to. So yeah, I feel like that covers listening though. I
Yeah.
love all your points about UGC, and I feel like that really does tie right into the giving back when we think about it. Uh,
Yeah.
so e-commerce brands, when you are listening, just remember that listening is just as important as being social online and creating your content. So the second strategy we want to talk about is collaborations, which is a given. That in my mind includes PR, any podcasting, any video creation you're making with another creator, or paying an influencer, working with an influencer, any type of collaboration. This is a collaboration. This is our collab.
Yes.
I think they're one of the best ways to integrate in your strategy is because it's two birds, one stone. You're not going to collaborate with anyone you don't trust and vice versa. So those audience automatically, you're getting more reach, more exposure, you're getting more trust. It's a win-win for everybody, and it just gets the snowball rolling faster. So that's
Yeah.
my bits on collabs. Pass it over to you.
Yeah, another way that you can collaborate, especially if you're a local business, could be through a local giveaway. So, say you're in a strip mall with a variety of different businesses, you all could put together a basket, and each thing could be related to each business, and you put that on social media and you give it away. And not only is it getting your organic followers and reach, but all of those other businesses as well. Especially if you put them in community and local pages, it can do pretty good things for your socials.
Big time, big time. And you're not only creating content and promoting it, but that it's getting promoted on so many other channels because sometimes collaborations have more than just two people involved. They have other vendors involved, a lot of different people could be, if we look at weddings, for instance, you have so many vendors in one event. So
Yes.
it really can go far. So I feel like we could talk about collaboration forever, but let's keep it moving because we got a lot.
Absolutely.
Definitely, absolutely. You need to be testing your organic and utilizing that into best performers, taking your best performers and turning them into paid. Whether that's on Facebook, Google, it doesn't matter wherever that PPC lands, that's going to be dependent on your data and your audience. But if you should be testing your organic and taking those best performers and feeding them into paid. You should be testing them again before you put them into big paid. But that kind of ties into the next one, which is recreating top performing content. So I feel like those two go hand in hand. So this
Yeah.
is why we do the audits every single month. This is why you should be keeping an eye on what is doing the best, what is not. Because whatever is doing well needs to come forward, needs to get recycled. Even old blogs, like if you update those, adding a few words, tweaking here and there, you can repost it as a new blog and Google favors it. And that doesn't even include your social media content. So recreating top performing, making sure you're doing those audits so you can keep an eye on those, testing, and improving.
Yeah. I think it's important when you recreate that content. I think most businesses sometimes go for the like check the box method. Okay, we posted a static post today. But I think sometimes we need to step back and say, okay, what was the result from that checking the box moment? Did it have any reach? Did it have any impact? And most of the time it's probably going to be goose egg. Um, I've seen a lot of people, especially on LinkedIn, moving towards longer format content that's more impactful and it presents like, hey, this is the problem we came across. This is what they didn't understand. This is how we help them solve that problem, and this is how we can help you too. Um, so yeah,
Love that stuff.
definitely look at the data, see what's making an impact and moving that needle, and then recreate it and keep pushing forward.
Keep pushing forward. And I do love that model that things, I feel like video, we've really gotten into a new chapter of the video era, and it's
Yeah.
really gearing towards long form. So that's the perfect kind of transition because now we're going to shift into a little less umbrella strategies, right? Those are more general strategies that should be involved. But these are a bit more niche. So one of my favorite strategies that has cut my content creation time in half is creating long form content, posting it on YouTube, and then uploading that into Opus Clip, which is an AI tool. There's a few out there, but personally I'm using Opus Clip. and then it creates the shorts for you and it grades things for you. It grades it down for you by level of engagement. And now, because depending on your level of perfectionism, like I still will edit it a little bit so it's just right for social. But I find that the long form trickle down strategy, it just works so well. Like you can create an hour's or 30 minutes to an hour's worth of content and then have that be a month's worth of AI created social media content. It's just saved me a lot of time and I've seen it work for a lot of people.
And if you've been following us along, you can see Gracie doing this in real time. Like she's doing that with these videos. You'll see them on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. She's pumping them out pretty quickly, and it's off of this long form content that we present to you guys.
Yes, and that is essentially what we're testing here is that YouTube long form strategy. Now, if I were auditing us, I would say, which I just ordered just a microphone and a nice little lens so I could get the quality a little bit better. So, if I were giving myself feedback, that's what I would say, we could get the quality a little bit nicer, but it has, I mean, I've been getting incredible feedback from the content and it's cut our time down significantly. So that strategy is one I love.
I have one question for you. You said it's called Opus AI.
Opus Clip, OPUSCIL, sorry, OPUSCLIP.com.
Okay. And is that a paid tool?
No, it's free.
It's not?
It's
Guys,
free.
mind blown.
The
She
catch
just
is
dropped
that,
you golden nuggets.
yes, you get like 5 videos where they'll hold on to them for a month, but you don't really need them. You can pay $9.99 if you want, but it is free. Like you can get by with it.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, and there are a few others out there, but that's just the one that I've played around with. So the trickle down effect works great, especially because YouTube, we know, is a big SEO platform. You can monetize on there. It's very creative friendly. I just feel like it's a good place to have it be the long form starting point.
Yeah.
The only time I would see that being different is if say that TikTok is your long form channel, that is where it kills it for you, whereas YouTube doesn't, then that's going to be the exception to the rule. In most cases, I'm going to say, let's put it on YouTube and then we'll trickle it out. So anything you want to add else to that before we go on to team setup?
Um, no, I think you killed it.
Okay.
Utilize tools to make that trickle down effect even more efficient and effective.
Yeah. And I can't wait to keep learning more AI tools to just get faster and faster. Team setup is one that I really just never forgot about because it's something that I've always thought about as marketers. How am I going to set up a certain team? But really hearing Michael Corcoran at the International Summit, him describing Ryanair's team setup really just heightened to me of how important it is that your content strategy align with your team and that e-commerce brands should think outside of the box here and say, how do we envision ourselves creating content? Like, are you going to have a content team for all content creation? Are you going to have somebody that's instant responding? Because I think finding that balance in your strategy of having consistent content that is going out, that you say, like, this month we're talking about this, and this quarter we're talking about this. That's all perfect, right? You want to have that layout. But social media is so fast and you have to be able to respond, you have to be able to adapt. So creating a strategy that finds that balance of, okay, we are still responding in real time, but we also have, stuff that is consistent that we know that we can rely on. Think outside of the box when it comes to your team setup, because I think seeing that it is changing and it's not a one size fit all approach, and don't be afraid to change it up. If you think that, what, we don't need this part of our team, we're going to actually merge these two parts and have this, totally new person work on these kind of trends, do that. If that works and you find out it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything
I
you,
didn't know anything about the Ryanair thing until you told me because I've been trucking along as a one-man team for quite a while with socials. I think a lot of people end up being pushed into that corner, especially if you're working for like an agency, and then you're like, okay, you're in charge of socials, you're in charge of paid, you're in charge of, X, Y, and Z.
well, we would love it to be that way, right? Like for everybody. Of
Yes.
course, if you are a one-man band, I think being realistic, of course, is very, very important.
Yeah.
Um, So the next one that I want to talk about kind of coincides, it's a psychology thing. So I see a lot of people saying, I'm doing 30 days of content on TikTok and I'm going to tell you how it goes. And that's all good and well and done. But actually, it's 21 days that actually really is the one of that's what you want to do. If you do a campaign or you want to do a test for content, pick a topic and do 21 videos of that. And you could sit down and film it in a long form and chop it up, or you can film 21 shorts, however you want to do it. But for humans, if I hear you talk about something, one topic, the same thing for every single days, for 21 days, I'm going to assume that you are a specialist in that topic. That's how long it takes. It's also how long it takes to form a habit. So it kind of makes sense psychologically.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, basically just if you want to place yourself as a thought leader or you want to have a fun campaign that, lasts a month that you can get some good data out of as well, make it 21 days, pick a topic, talk about it. Then that automatically makes you a thought leader and people associate you with that. So that's a content strategy that you can work through out your strategy numerous times per year, I think.
Hmm.
Um, have you seen that work for anyone specifically, or have you tried it yourself?
I have not tried 21 days of, I guess, video of a certain topic. I did do 30, was it 30 days? I think it was 30 days. We produced a reel every single day for a month, and
I
it
remember.
had a great effect. It was crazy. It was just, try to post a reel every day for that month. And we did that. And I have like a whole little case study on it, but it jumped our numbers way up. It was like at the beginning of our Instagram for Palm
I
and Pine. So
I
yeah.
remember when you guys did that, and I actually loved that study as well. We need to do it again. Can we do it again?
Yeah, we should do it together.
Yeah, we'll do that again. Maybe let's test this 21 days of the same topic
Yeah, I'm
because
down. And we
I
can
think
come back with the data.
exactly we'll come back with the data. So that's the whole fun in it, really, is that if you run these campaigns, you do find out something. There's always something that you take away from it, even if it doesn't kill it in revenue, which hopefully you get that out of it too.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we will test that and bring back some results. I have not tested it 30 days in a row. I have had somebody else I know test it for 21 days and she said absolutely 100% work. What I've tested personally is I'm a one time per week poster. Like I will post 4 times a week on LinkedIn, but if I only feel like I have one quality post per week, that's what I'm going to do. And I feel like it's 21 weeks that I might have tested, and it definitely worked for me. Like just posting once a week consistently, it absolutely works. Like I've noticed people know what I do more.
Yeah.
Which we all know the going joke is like, what do you do? And we don't know what anyone what anyone does. So, okay, so that's a good one. It's 21 days of the same topic. The last one that I want to cover is just cross-channel promotion and including email as well.
Mhm.
Just making sure that you're always cross-promoting, so taking your most engaged platform, of course, shouting on there once in a while and say, hey, don't forget we're on Instagram. Don't forget we're here. Don't forget we're there. Working that into the email marketing strategy is super, super important, making sure that you're funneling people into there and that they're getting the right messaging once they go into emails. And then cross promoting of like, hey, on social, we're running a giveaway on social, shouting about that on your email and vice versa. Like, hey, only our email subscribers get access to this sale. Go subscribe. Whether or not you're building your following on all of your channels or you're actually driving traffic and getting people to build that customer journey, just making sure that you're promoting like always, really. It never hurts to just drop a little link there and don't forget to follow us, etc.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, and I think it's very important. I I know some people probably ignore email, but it's so important to do it. It has such a high ROI.
It has such a ROI, such a high ROI. I think it accounts for, depending on the brand, a minimum of
Yeah.
30% of revenue. I know for B2B, that's much, much higher, but sorry, email accounts for much more versus social accounts for more for e-commerce. But yeah, I mean, utilizing that, obviously having your automation set up, but I think really painting a journey for people of like, this is the clear benefits that you get from following us here, and this is the clear benefits that you get from following us here, and making sure that that line is drawn in the sand and it's included in the copy.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, are there any other kind of strategies that have been brewing in your idea brain? I would say like fun way to use features. Like using features in creative ways is always something exciting as a marketer that you can do for content strategies.
Hmm.
So, like an example that did you which singer was it that actually did this? Was it Charlie XCX, I think? She used her close friends list. Did you
Oh.
hear? Gosh, I'm showing my millennial colors. I don't even know who it was, but it was one of those brat summer girls.
Oh, okay.
Definitely Charlie X. So, anyways, she basically added all of her followers to her close friend list on Instagram. And that got everybody's attention. And they were like, oh my gosh, what is she going to post? And she started posting just sprinkles of information. And all of a
Oh,
sudden, it kind of gave people this, oh, we're BTS, we're in the close friends. So
yeah.
then she only led up to her launch. So she ended up building that suspense and that momentum, and then boom, dropped her ticket sales or something, and it did very well. So that is a great example of how you can use creative features. I think an older one, I think this is very dependent on the brand and you have to have a clear objective, but using Facebook events and Facebook group.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anyone specifically that's done this well, but I know for Myova, which was a brand I worked with in the past, they had a brand that was very, very informative. And it was good for women who not only shopped with the brand, but wanted to genuinely get information about PCOS. And it is kind of an intimate topic sometimes. So having a group, I think in that case for that business, it made sense because it makes it a little bit more intimate for, people shopping there. And it had such a genuine purpose of, hey, I don't know what to eat. I have PCOS. Doctors won't help me. That's something common women will say. So having a group for people, as long as it has a clear purpose, I think can be another great content strategy as well.
Yeah. No, Facebook groups are amazing, especially if you have like general search terms as the title. You can get a pretty decent sized group just off of their organic SEO of Facebook of people typing in, PCOS, and then that group could pop up and they're like, oh, okay, here's a whole supportive community of people like me that I can ask questions to. Um, I mean, even for us, there's multiple, women in marketing group, successful female entrepreneurs. Like, there's so many of them. Same when it comes to like the education world, higher education professionals. My students in high school and they're applying for college. What do I do? Okay, college application help group. Let's go in there and see what we can find. So I think if you're a business and you have some topic or thing that whatever problem you solve for people, if you can take that and create a Facebook group that you can help people even more, then that's definitely a feature that they should use. Um, what's another one?
I mean, that leads right into the community aspect of it, which we've seen a
Yeah.
huge rise in. Um, I think we're reaching a plateau in it. I don't know about you, but I can only join so many communities. So, but again, if you have a community that has enough purpose, like women in marketing, like even just hearing you say it made me smile. There are communities that I've joined over the past 4 years that I really, really enjoy being a part of. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that's a new form of value for people that companies are able to give to people. Um, it always helps. I think the e-commerce brands that are going to survive in the future are the ones that have purpose, just because that's what makes or breaks it in terms of how hard you have to try when it comes to marketing. I've always said, marketing a brand with purpose is easy, really, because that those are the brand. Oh, hello. Perfect timing. But so I feel like that's a good luck Odom. That my prediction is true. But yeah, I feel like those are the brands that are going to survive is the brands that have the purpose because we're all inundated with, notifications 24/7. We're being advertised to. We know our attention is the that's what's worth. That's what we're selling now is our attention. So
Mhm.
we want purpose. And I actually think social media is the reason, the driver that really made that shift. I don't know if it was in the 90s or the millennium, exactly when, but I remember being younger and noticing that when social came on the scene, businesses had no choice but to start doing better,
Mhm.
sustainably, all of that stuff, because now we shout about it. So obviously it's been an interesting evolution, but I feel like if you want to make your content marketing strategy easy, have a brand with purpose and it will make everything else a lot easier for you.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we're almost like out of time. So I would just say if there's anything anybody wants us to cover in next month's episode, let us know. Drop a comment below on our YouTube, our LinkedIn, wherever we're posting this, because we post it on all the channels. And do you want to remind them again about our awesome deal that is only for viewers?
Yes, if you go to www.palmpine.design and you go to the deep dive e-commerce social media package under services, you can find out all the details about me and Grace's collaborative package. It includes a in-depth audit with Gracie and then 3 months of social media content and implementation from my team for 3 months as well.
Yes. And thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.